Wembley Stadium hosted an FA Cup semi-final for the very first time in April 1991 as North London rivals Tottenham and Arsenal renewed their hostilities. Arsenal hadn't won the competition since 1979, but with an 8-point lead at the top of the First Division, the Gunners had their sights set on a league and cup double. By comparison, Spurs were way off the pace in a disappointing league campaign, but with Paul Gascoigne and Gary Lineker in their ranks, Terry Venable's side was still hoping to lift the trophy for the 8th time. Commentary from Trevor Brooking and Barry Davis.
Positive selections by the two managers. David Howells was out for 10 games before he came back against Norwich in midweek. Paul Gascoigne, with the stomach operation, missed only 5. The unlucky man, I suppose, is the Moroccan Naeem. Vinny Samways getting the midfield place. Naeem joining Paul Walsh on the substitutes bench. If George Graham thought about a third central defender, David O'Leary, in the end, he decided not to include him. David is on the substitutes bench with Perry Groves. Instead, Graham sticks to his wide men, Merson and Limpar, in Arsenal's attacking formation. Not exactly a day of Browning Otoby in England now that April's there. It's a touch of winter about it. First feel of the ball, and then a second feel of the ball for the Norwegian, Erik Torstvedt. And the wind was against the kick. The header was by Limpar. Vanden Hauwe, and the free kick is in his favour. Vanden Hauwe, who wears number 3, playing at right back, with Justin Edinburgh wearing 2 on the left side. A position that he's really made his own, Edinburgh, in this cup run. First touch for that fellow whose name I can't remember for a moment. Wasn't the friendliest of balls from a colleague that Winterburn was given. Stewart, whose brother was hoping to have ensured a place here at Wembley for Witten Albion, but he's got to wait for the replay. Challenged by Samways. Swede who's down. Steve Bold joining Smith and Campbell forward. Tony Adams arriving a little later. Out by Mabbott, a little bit short. And Lineker with 2 defenders around him. And the ball had gone out before it hit Lineker, apparently. Howells had made a forward run, number 5, nobody seemed to notice him. Chase over for Paul Allen. Gascoigne is in the area. So now is the ball. Howells coming in. And Gascoigne complaining. Looked to see whether the linesman's flag was up, but in fact I think that was a verdict of the referee. Howells is now forward of Edinburgh. It's nicely done. Allen challenged just in time. Gascoigne is offside. Flag is up. Gascoigne was offside. But I think the referee is in fact just a moment then when Allen thought he might be at the races. It was Adams who got the challenge in. It was a very important one. Allen. The early attacking ideas coming from Tottenham. First time Gascoigne's been able to dwell on the ball, faced then by Paul Davis. Tottenham seem to be finding quite a lot of space. But that wasn't the best of passes. But the challenge was a little late on Stewart, which may have been the reason. And the free kick is just left of centre. Gascoigne, whose free kick Stewart met against Blackpool, started the Tottenham scoring, and he scored in every round after that. Made the first and involved in everything since. Mabbott has gone forward with Stewart to the right, Lineker and Howells to the left. Is Gascoigne going to have a crack? He is, you know. Oh, I say! Brilliant! is schoolboy's own stuff. Oh, I bet even he can't believe it. Is there anything left from this man to surprise us? That was one of the finest free kicks that this stadium has ever seen. Seaman got his hands, couldn't hold. Spurs have the lead. David Seaman in the same end, where he didn't have the best of moments playing against the Republic of Ireland. But he's got to put that out of his mind. And at the risk of upsetting all the Arsenal fans, for the neutral, it's probably what the game needed, an early goal by Tottenham.
That's right, that man gets going again. But the goal, it's interesting if you see the replay there. David Seaman goes for it with his right arm, which is the one furthest away. Most goalkeeping coaches will tell you should go with the near arm, which should have been his left. But not that I used to be a goalkeeper.
And he's not alone in that. I've seen Neville Southall and company do it. Torsvet changes his mind. And he's nicely placed in the end. And just a little bit of push and shove between Stewart and Adams, which is all rather silly. Referee wants to talk to both and he's right. Stewart immediately offers his handshake, which seemed to be declined. One man in charge, although Adams seems to want to make the point and is rather more upset about it, it would appear, than Stewart. Howells certainly pushing well up on Lee Dixon, which will limit his attacking abilities. And again the challenge was a little bit venomous and a little bit poorly timed. Stewart enjoyed playing in midfield. Stewart, nice little touch from Gascoigne. Allen was onside, plenty forward. Mabbott trying to get there. Smith, it's gone in. Lineker got the final touch. Alan Smith was back in his own 6-yard area, but that was the flick that did it. There, put Allen away. Howells was forward, Mabbott was forward, Smith was back, Lineker with a little stub toe. Tottenham are 2 up. Free kick against Samways. Merson on the right. He's never going to get past Howells like that. Edinburgh. Samways. Edinburgh. Oh, dear, dear. Well, if Dixon has had a worse time tackle this season, I'm glad I didn't see it. Merson. First time he's had a run. Smith. He tried the dummy, but there wasn't enough pace on the ball for it to reach Campbell. Samways, Lineker out to the left. Storming run being made down the middle, which helped by Edinburgh. Samways involved for the second time. Edinburgh still forward. Samways. Well struck. Body all behind it by Seaman. Anders Limpar. It's been said that his form hasn't been quite what it was earlier in the season. They need him to find it. A long spell without scoring, Limpar, which has an effect. Gascoigne hasn't shirked anything. In fact, he's invited people to give him the ball. Back a few moments ago when he gave the ball back to Torsvet, he then ran 20 yards to collect it again. Smith. Feel for offside, it's not. It's curled. Smith! He scored! Dixon's cross. Smith's head. And Arsenal have got what they desperately needed. A goal before half-time. It was a good cross. Wynn, I suspect, held it up a little bit. Smith rose the highest, and Torsvedt, who was quite close to his line, found it beating him on his left side.
See what a difference a cross at speed makes. The goalkeeper just came a couple of yards, knew he couldn't get near it, and Alan Smith soared superbly. Did well to get the power to beat Torsvedt from there, because he was still quite a distance out.
And he will allow no more. Entertaining first half. Some wonderful football from Spurs, with Gascoigne at the heart of it. He scored the first, was involved in the move from which Lineker scored the second. But Terry Venables, who up until a couple of moments ago felt that he would go off with his side two in front, has seen George Graham's side come back with a typical goal. Dixon's cross and Smith's header. And at half-time, it's Tottenham Hotspur 2, Arsenal 1. Away we go on the second half. Arsenal attacking the goal to our left. And here's Winterburn. Free kick by Sedgley. Well, we've seen how well Spurs can play in attack, but George Graham certainly will have geared up his side to give a real test to the Tottenham defence. How much as Bowl waits for the free kick, how much has that late goal in the first half changed the balance? Just away by Mabbott. Free kick by Allen. Limpar, he challenged. Adams has come up, as has Bold. 1-3. Merson is the last to make the run and gets ahead, but not sufficiently ahead with his head.
Has had a chance to perhaps show his individual flair going forward, taking defenders on. He is dangerous though when he gets on a little purple spell, and I think Arsenal, important opening 10 minutes of this second half, they've got to try and get the dominance that Spurs had in that opening period themselves, and try and sustain some pressure and sort of push Spurs back on the defensive and not allow their midfield five to dominate.
This is Campbell. This is a good run too. Taken off his toe by Van den Hauwe. But confident movement by the young man who's made the forward place his own in the second half of the season. Tottenham not with quite the flow that they had in the first period. Fine ball by Merson to Winterburn. And difficult, Campbell, and Thomas was nearest in the end.
There's Winterburn, who's making those forward runs that helps the Arsenal attack so much, and there's Sedgley just hooking his left leg. Not sure he intended to play it back to his goalkeeper, but that's where it ended up. But Arsenal are getting forward in numbers much better.
Neatness from Arsenal. It's coming down to Winterburn. Still Winterburn! It's over the top.
Winterburn got forward so effectively in the second half. He's making a lot of problems here. Just touches it over, heads it over then Gary Mabbott, who tries, probably could have done with the right foot there, and he has to stretch with his favoured left and lift it over Torsvedt, but the goal as well. But he's getting some good angles, getting into attack, not worrying so much about his defensive duties, which is Arsenal have to do if they're going to get back into this match.
And the substitution will now be made. Gascoigne, who has written his notes on this semi-final, but beaten by the shortness of the time since the stomach operation. And the man who replaces him is Naeem. So it's a midfield player for a midfield player, but Naeem's task is to make sure that what Gascoigne has helped Tottenham achieve is not, in the end, to be wasted. A little bit bunched for Arsenal. I could spread it out now, though. Merson took a good position. Smith shots. Torsvet was well aware it was going wide.
Good snapshot from Smith, because Merson tries to clip it through. It comes to him very quickly. Bit of a shinner.
Lineker. Well played, Steve Bowl, but up comes Samways. He's hit that a little harder than he intended, I suspect. But it's still two waiting in the middle. Naeem. Tottenham not committing players as they were before. Not sure what that achieved. Naeem. This might do a bit more. Good weaving run off the foot of Bold as Lineker was cocking the trigger. Merson. This is Allen. Lineker. Typical header falling away, but away from the far post as well. Good cross because it was one-on-one in the middle, and Lineker got ahead of his man by that little pullback. Naeem. Slight hesitancy. Good tackle by Edinburgh. Mabbotts fed it well. Naeem to the left. Samways ahead. And Lineker uses him by not using him. Good try, score! And David Seaman will be very disappointed about that. It seemed to go through his fingers. Good break by Tottenham. Very, very good running by Samways that helped the opening. But I don't think David Seaman will be too happy. Look at the run he makes. And that gives a bit of space to Lineker to his right. But the shot seemed to go through the fingers.
Well, a poor, soft goal, but as you say, Vinny Samways, look at his run there, takes Bold, Tony Adams dives in, Gary Lineker gets a yard away from him, stretches for the shot, and Seaman appeared to get both hands to it, went through his fingers, and I think that expression sums up what he thinks about it.
Merson. Here's a chance, Smith! Blocked by Torsvet's feet. Winterburn, free kick. David Seaman down on his haunches. He's alone with his thoughts. Only 14 times has he been beaten in the league, but beaten 3 times in this semi-final. Can Arsenal come straight back? Davis. They've got a man up at the back. Smith! Good save! That, of course, always makes it worse for the man in the other goal when he sees his opposite number make an important save like this one. Smith got away and Bold was waiting. Smith with the nod down. Thomas and Paul Stewart, and finally it's Mabbotts. Smith, who's not one to complain, suggesting to the referee that he was pushed a bit. Corner is taken, and it's won by Campbell and turned away by Edinburgh.
When things are going for you, Eric Torsvet came for the corner, missed it on that occasion. Campbell got the head. When things are going for you, Eric Torsvet came for the corner, missed it on that occasion. Campbell got the header, and it was knocked off the line. And another day, those sort of decisions will be costly.
Good bounce again, won by Thomas. Bowles, Campbell, still Campbell. Oh, and he hit the woodwork! Merson, and it's just a whisker away. Well, you've got to hand it to Arsenal. This is a very good comeback from going 3-1 down. Off the crossbar, back to Merson, just wide, out by Mabitz. Allen was caught. Campbell, good save.
Was a good save. He's a tall lad, Torsford, but to get down to that good ground shot, Paul Allen just losing possession. Kevin Campbell, once he sees a sight on goal, he doesn't hesitate. But there, that big palm just touching it round the post.
Again Sedgley, then Stewart. Dixon, it's done well, done very well indeed if Smith can collect that, and he can. Four waiting in the middle, in comes Bowles, foul on the goalkeeper.
Was a foul. The previous clearance, again, the header was Paul Stewart, and the bonus of having him in midfield, that gives him a bit more time to sort of use the ball than he does when he's up front. There's Paul Gascoigne, I think, celebrating, not surprisingly.
On well by Lineker to Paul Allen. Paul Walsh is up as well. Arsenal outnumbered here. Allen! What an unfortunate ending from his point of view.
I think he was so tired by the time he got there, he could only knock it to David Seaman and said, over to you.
Thomas, Groves. They're all calling for it forward. Groves again. Merson coming up round the back. Turning header by Edinburgh. One of the unsung players in the Tottenham side who's played so well.
And the skipper who just took the ball away there, Gary Mabbutt, has played very well as well alongside Steve Sedgley.
An example to any professional player, Gary Mabbutt, and he's going to bring his team back here for the final. And Gaza with the kisses and being kissed, and now look at Terry Venables. Goodness me, they were kids together, Venables and Gascoigne. Lineker joining in. The delight is all Tottenham's, and on the pitch are players of Arsenal, knowing that their dream of a second double for that club have gone. Gascoigne giving the match an electrifying start. Arsenal coming back, but Lineker's 2 goals bringing Tottenham back for the final.